See this. You hook it right here. You want to make sure it's secure before you apply pressure. Safety first.
The rain-slicked highway stretched like a black ribbon under the relentless downpour. And that's when it happened. Tires screeching, the world tilting sideways as my car lurched to a violent stop on a shoulder. Heart pounding like a war drum in my chest. I gripped the wheel, tasting blood from where I'd bitten my lip, the dashboard lights flickering like dying fireflies. Alone in the storm, miles from anywhere that felt like home, I realized with a gut-wrenching clarity that this flat tire wasn't just bad luck. It was the unraveling of everything I'd so carefully hidden. I slammed the door behind me, the cold October rain soaking through my shirt in seconds, turning the fabric to a second skin that clung uncomfortably. The tire was shredded, rubber peeled back like flesh from bone, and my phone, damn it, showed 0 bars. Panic clawed at my throat, visions of being stranded until dawn flashing through my mind, when headlights pierced the darkness like a lifeline. A pickup truck slowed, gravel crunching under its tires, and pulled up behind me. The driver's door creaked open, and out stepped a figure I recognized in an instant, his silhouette broad and unyielding against the storm. "Alex, that you out here fighting the apocalypse alone?" The voice was deep, laced with that easy Midwestern warmth, but undercut by something sharper tonight, concern. Maybe, or the edge of the unknown. It was Tom Hargrove, my best friend Jamie's dad, the man who'd fixed more than engines in this small Illinois town. At 48, he carried the weight of 2 decades in the family auto shop like a badge of quiet honor. His flannel shirt dark with rain, jeans tucked into boots caked in garage grime. He grabbed a flashlight from his truck bed, its beam cutting through the sheets of water to illuminate my wrecked wheel. "Jesus, kid, you could have been roadkill. Let's get this sorted before the coyotes think you're dinner." I forced a laugh, but came out ragged, my 25-year-old frame shivering not just from the cold. Tom had always been the steady rock in Jamie's chaotic world, the dad who showed up for soccer games with a cooler of Gatorade, who rebuilt carburetors while quoting Springsteen lyrics like scripture. We'd cross paths at barbecues, holidays, the occasional awkward small talk when Jamie dragged me to the shop for free oil changes. But tonight, with the rain hammering down like judgment, his presence felt different. Too close. Too real. "Thanks, Tom. I owe you one." "Hell, I owe you a dozen." He waved it off, kneeling beside the tire with a grunt, his strong hands, scarred from years of wrenches and welds, working the lug nuts like they were puzzles he'd solved 1,000 times. Water streamed down his face, but he didn't flinch, just glanced up at me with those piercing blue eyes, crinkles at the corners from too many suns. "Oh, me? Nah. Friends look out for each other." Jamie'd have my hide if I left his college buddy out here. There was again that casual tether to Jamie, my straight-as-an-arrow best friend since freshman year at the University of Illinois. The one who'd never suspect the secret I'd buried deeper than this flat, the way my gaze lingered on Tom during those family dinners, tracing the line of his jaw, the roll of his shoulders under a faded Cubs tee. As he jacked up the car, muscles flexing with effortless power, I leaned against the hood, arms crossed to hide the tremble. The storm eased to a drizzle, stars peeking through like hesitant witnesses. "You heading back from that design gig in Chicago?" he asked, voice rumbling over the creak of metal. I nodded, surprised he remembered last summer's barbecue. I mentioned my freelance graphic work, the late nights turning logos into art for faceless corporations. Yeah, pushed it too far. Thought I could beat the weather. He chuckled, low and genuine, handing me the spare tire. That's youth for you. Invincible until you're not. We worked in sync then, a rhythm born of necessity. His instructions steady as he guided my hands on the jack. Our fingers brushed once, rough calluses against my smoother skin, and electricity shot up my arm, hot and forbidden. I pulled back too quick, heat flooding my cheeks under the flashlight's glare. Tom didn't notice, or if he did, he said nothing, just wiped his brow and straightened. There. Good as new. Drive safe. Alex. And hey, coffee at the shop tomorrow? On me. Debrief the near-death experience. A murmured agreement. Sliding back into my seat. The engine humming to life like a reprieve. As his taillights faded into the night, I sat there, pulse thundering, the scent of rain and motor oil clinging to me. What the hell was that? A thank you from a grateful stranger? Or the spark of something I'd spent years pretending didn't exist? Jamie's dad. Of all people. The man who'd raised a brother I never had. And yet, as I pulled onto the highway, the road ahead felt less like escape and more like a path I couldn't unsee. The next morning dawned crisp. The kind of autumn bite that turned cornfields gold under a reluctant sun. I rolled into Hargrove Auto Repair just after 8. The bell above the door jingling like an old friend's hello. The shop smelled of coffee and grease. A comforting haze that wrapped around me as I spotted Tom behind the counter. Sleeves rolled up, tattooed forearms, faded anchors from his Navy days, glistening with a light sheen of sweat. He looked up, that easy smile breaking across his face. And damn if it didn't twist something deep in my gut. Survivor arrives. Black. 2 sugars. He slid a steaming mug my way without waiting, the ceramic warm against my palms. I nodded, settling onto a stool scarred from countless asses. The shop was quiet. Just the hum of a distant compressor and the tick of a wall clock marking time we'd stolen. Appreciate this, Tom. And last night. Seriously, you saved me. He leaned on the counter, elbows braced, close enough that I caught the faint scent of aftershave under the oil. Like I said, no debt. Besides, gives me an excuse to grill you on that city life. Jamie says you're killing it with those fancy designs. Ads for booze and banks. Right? His tone was light, but his eyes held mine a beat too long. Searching, like he saw the cracks in my polished facade. Jamie had filled him in. Of course, brunch stories over speakerphone. My glamorous freelance hustle masking the loneliness of empty apartments and apps that promised connection but delivered ghosts. We talked easy then. The conversation flowing like the Illinois River after a thaw. He shared shop tales, stubborn transmissions that fought like ex-wives. The kid apprentice who'd nearly set the bay on fire with a misplaced rag. I countered with Chicago chaos, subway delays that swallowed hours. Clients who treated creatives like disposable napkins. Laughter came natural, his booming and mine softer. But it bridged the years between us, the 23 that separated a wide-eyed kid from Chicago's South Side and the weathered vet who'd poured his prime into Pistons and single dad duties. You ever miss it? The service? I asked, emboldened by the caffeine, gesturing vaguely at his ink. His smile faded, eyes drifting to the window where rusted tractors lined the lot like forgotten soldiers. Every damn day. The brotherhood. The purpose. But then I look at Jamie, Hell, at nights like last, pulling over for a stranded soul, and it's worth it. Keeps the ghosts at bay. Vulnerability cracked his voice. A fissure I wanted to mend with words I couldn't say. Instead, I reached across, my hand covering his on the counter for a fraction of a second. Solid. Alive. He didn't pull away. The bell jingled again, shattering the bubble. Jamie, bounding in with his trademark grin. Toolbox slung over one shoulder from his construction gig. Dad, Alex, you sneaky bastard, coffee without me? What's the play here? Plotting world domination? He clapped my back hard enough to slosh my mug, oblivious to the charged air. Tom straightened, the moment sealed away like a classified file. Just patching up the hero from last night. Your buddy here's got 9 lives. Jamie launched into his latest Foreman drama, drywall disasters and beer-fueled site bets, drawing me in with that infectious energy that had hooked me at 18. Roommates in a shoebox dorm. But as we bantered, my eyes kept straying to Tom, wiping down tools in the background, his broad back a silent anchor. Lunch stretched into the afternoon, the 3 of us grabbing sandwiches from the diner across the street. Grease-stained napkins and inside jokes papering over the undercurrent only I felt. When Jamie headed out for a shift, clapping promises of a weekend hike, Tom walked me to my car. Glad you made it through the storm. Alex, his hand lingered on my shoulder, thumb brushing collarbone through thin cotton, a touch that seared. Me too. Thanks to you. The words hung heavy, laced with what-ifs. Driving away, the shop shrinking in my rear view, I gripped the wheel tighter than necessary. This wasn't a crush. It was a collision. And collisions, I'd learned young, left wreckage. Weeks blurred into a tentative rhythm. My freelance deadlines pulling me back to the city. But the pull south grew stronger. Excuses stacking like unpaid bills. Need an oil change. Picking up that part you mentioned. Each visit layered on the tension. Our talks delving deeper. His divorce a decade cold. The ache of raising Jamie solo after Lisa's cancer stole her breath. My own guarded truths. The foster homes that taught me love was alone with interest. He listened without pity. Shared silences that spoke volumes. His presence a balm to the isolation I'd armored myself in. One Friday, rain threatening again, I lingered after closing, helping stack tires in the bay. The shop's fluorescents buzzed overhead, casting long shadows as thunder grumbled distant warnings. You don't have to play mechanic. You know, Tom said, wiping his hands on a rag, but his eyes said stay. Beats staring at screens. I shrugged, heart hammering as our arms brushed shelving units. The air thick with unspoken humidity. He paused, rag dangling, face inches from mine in the dim. Alex, there's something I've been chewing on since that night. His voice dropped, gravel rough. You look at me like I'm more than the old man fixing flats. Time fractured. My breath caught, denial dying on my tongue. Tom, but he closed the gap, lips crashing into mine with a hunger that shattered the dam. Rough, desperate, tasting of coffee and regret. His hands framing my face like I was fragile glass. I melted into it, fingers threading his damp hair, the world narrowing to this stolen fire. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, rain now pattering the tin roof like applause. Jamie, I whispered, the name of guillotine. Tom's jaw tightened, thumb tracing my lip. Can't think about that now. Not when this feels like coming home. But the afterglow curdled fast, his phone buzzing Jamie's ringtone. A text lighting the screen. Heading your way? Dad. Pizza night? Guilt flooded me. Hot and choking. I bolted, mumbling excuses, the door slamming behind me like a verdict. The drive north was a blur of wipers and what the fucks. My mind replaying the kiss on loop. Electric. Wrong. Inevitable. Jamie texted midway. You bailing on hike? Everything cool? I typed lies. Fingers numb. The city lights mocking my unraveling. That night, alone in my loft, sketches scattered like confetti from a funeral, I paced until dawn, the humanistic ache of it all crashing down, desire as a thief, stealing peace from the people we loved most. November crept in with frost-kissed fields, Thanksgiving looming like a family tribunal. Jamie insisted, full spread at the farmhouse. Just us three, traditions clinging like ivy. I arrived with pie from the bakery, nerves jangling under forced cheer. Tom greeted me at the door, apron dusted in flour, his smile polite but eyes stormy seas. Alex, good to see you. The words were neutral, but the brush of his hand on my elbow ignited embers. Dinner unfolded in agonizing normalcy, turkey carved with precision. Stories of Jamie's boyhood mishaps drawing laughs that rang hollow to me. Under the table, Tom's boot nudged mine, accidental, intentional, sending sparks up my leg. I shifted, heat pooling low, cursing the betrayal of my body. Conversation turned to futures, Jamie's promotion dreams, my portfolio pitching to agencies. What about you? Dad? Shop expansion still on? Jamie prodded, oblivious. Tom's Ford paused, gaze flicking to me. Thinking on it. Maybe time for a partner, someone to share the load. The double entendre hung. Jamie chuckling at the pun while I choked on mashed potatoes. Later, clearing plates, we collided in the kitchen, suds splashing as his hip pressed mine against the sink. We need to talk, he murmured, breath hot on my neck. Upstairs. Now, heart in throat. I followed, stairs creaking underfoot like warnings. His bedroom was sparse, queen bed with a quilt his mother stitched, nightstand holding a faded photo of Lisa laughing. He closed the door soft, turning to me with raw need. This is tearing me up. Alex. You. Us. But God help me. I can't stop. His confession broke me. I surged forward, kissing him fierce, hands roaming the hard plains of his chest, unbuttoning flannel to reveal skin warm and scarred. We tumbled to the bed, clothes shedding like inhibitions, his touch reverent, fingers mapping my ribs, lips trailing fire down my throat. It was slow then, exploratory, his body heavy and sure over mine, whispers of beautiful and mine lost in gasps. Climax shattered us both, waves crashing in tandem, leaving us tangled in sheets, sweat slick and spent. What are we doing? I breathed, tracing the salt-pepper hair on his chest. He pulled me closer, kissed to my temple. Falling? I guess. Messy as hell, but real. Dawn filtered through curtains. Jamie's footsteps echoing below, a rude awakening. We dressed in silence, the afterglow laced with dread. Downstairs, breakfast banter masked the secret blooming between us. Jamie noticed nothing, hugging me goodbye with brotherly vigor. Your family. Man. Don't be a stranger. The irony burned as I drove away. Tom's parting glance from the porch of promise and a plea. Winter gripped the heartland, snow blanketing secrets under white veils. Our stolen moments multiplied, late-night shop visits under guise of consults, my designs for his rebrand turning into alibis for tangled limbs on the office couch. Each encounter deepened the romance. His letters, handwritten notes slipped into my glove box, pouring out affections. Your laugh undoes me. T. Laughter in bed. Stories swapped in the dark, his Navy regrets. My foster scars, we wove a tapestry of vulnerability, humanistic threads binding us beyond the physical. But tension coiled tighter, Jamie's suspicions flickering like faulty wiring. A missed call here, a vague excuse there. You and Dad seem tight lately, he said one hike, breath fogging the trail. Yeah, he's solid, I deflected, guilt gnawing. Then the blow, overhearing Tom on the phone. Voice strained. No, Lisa's sister. I can't. It's complicated. Family prying. Small-town whispers about the bachelor mechanic entertaining that city boy. Climax brewed on Christmas Eve. Jamie's tree-trimming party swelling the farmhouse with neighbors. Eggnog flowing like confessions. I arrived fashionably late. Gift bag hiding a leather-bound sketchbook for Tom. Personal. Perilous. Amid carols and chaos, our eyes met across the room, a magnetic pull yanking me to the porch for air. He followed, coat shrugged on, snowflakes dusting his hair like stars. Can't do this anymore, he said, voice cracking, back to the revelry inside. Jamie asked questions today. Saw the way I look at you. Panic surged, my chest caving. Then what? We in it? Pretend. Anger flared. Hot tears pricking. He whirled, grabbing my arms. Eyes fierce. No. We tell him. Together. Because this, us, it's worth the wreckage. Love doesn't hide, it fights. The words landed like grace. Humanistic fire igniting resolve. Inside, we pulled Jamie aside, the tree lights haloing his confusion. Dad? Alex? What's going on? Tom's hand found mine. Grip iron. Son, I love him. Ever since that rainy night, silence stretched. Jamie's face cycling shock to hurt to dawning understanding. You. Both? How long? We confessed the arc. The tire, the talks, the fall. Tears came, hugs fierce, Jamie's voice breaking. You're happy? That's what matters. But damn, weren't a guy. Forgiveness didn't erase the fractures, but it mended them with time, therapy sessions, awkward family dinners evolving into genuine bonds. Spring thawed the fields as Tom and I built openly, shop sign redesigned in my script. Weekends hiking with Jamie's blessing. Romance bloomed in daylight, picnics by the river, his head on my lap under lazy suns. Years later, vows exchanged in a quiet ceremony. Jamie toasting with misty eyes to flat tires and second chances. The road ahead curved
Why
gentle,
did this have to happen tonight?
lined with
Maybe
the
it
truth
happened
we
because
claimed.
we were meant to meet.
Love, in all
Help
its
often
dramatic
arrives when you
glory,
least expect it.
was the ultimate repair.